Good evening and welcome to Omnibros Live. I'm Omnidog from Omnidog's Vault, joined by the ever fabulous Comics Guide 101's Lou Rodrigue. Lou, how you doing, buddy?
Good evening.
Doing his Alfred Hitchcock. Very nice. And we were just, before I get to the plug, we were just talking about whether or not DC was indeed paring down to 22 titles now. Our source seems to be Bleeding Cool, and is that what our only source is?
Yeah, it's Bleeding Cool and Cosmic Book News, which take that website with a grain of salt, because that was also the asshat that I think put up James Gunn's personal information online a few months ago.
Cosmic News did?
Yeah.
What's their angle? They have an axe to grind?
Comicsgate is their angle. Yeah. So let's leave. We'll leave that one out. But Bleeding Cool News is the only one really reporting this. So again, take this with a grain of salt. Dan DiDio, publisher of DC Comics, has taken to the stump at Comics Pro, the comics retailer advocacy group, meeting being held in Charlotte, North Carolina for the next few days. We may get a fuller report later, but the headline is that DC Comics is cutting the number of titles they sell through the direct market of comic stores. Bleeding Cool has heard rumors, again, take this with a grain of salt, guys, dubbed the new 22, and DiDio directly denied that rumor in his speech in Charlotte today. However, he did tell retailers that DC would be cutting their publishing numbers back by a further 10 to 15%, as that's what he believes the market can bear. He also believes that Diamond Comic Distributor are distributing too many comic books to comic stores right now, diluting sales for individual issues across the board. He didn't mention Marvel Comics, but I'm told that seemed implicit. So, again, seems legit, but it's not going to be 22 comics like it's not going to be 22 comics like a lot of people thought it was. But it's going to be like 5 to 15% is what he's saying. So what is that, Jess? You're better at numbers than I am.
I don't know what figure we're starting out with. Do we know how many titles they publish?
Let's say 52.
Well, 10 or 15% is like 5 to 7.
5 to 7 books, right?
Yeah, that's not 22. That's like down into the 40s.
Yeah, so it's not that big of a drop, and realistically, it's probably just going to be your bottom tier books, the ones that really don't sell anything, and they keep trying to push. But if it's true, it is kind of an interesting thing, and I kind of happen to agree with DiDio on this one. I think that they are publishing. Diamond especially is putting out way too much stuff, and retailers are just getting flooded with stuff that's sitting on the shelves and isn't moving.
Shoot, I had Steve from Third Eye Comics on the Punk show that I did on Saturday. I should have asked him about that. But we were talking about Punk and not retailing.
I kind of agree with him. I think that
it's not a bad thing to pare back. If you've got 52 comics, it's probably not a bad thing to pare back on the the things that aren't selling well. That makes sense to me.
So I don't know. I agree. I agree with a lot of what he's saying, and especially with Marvel. I think they are putting out a bit too much. It's hard to keep up with everything. It really is.
Yeah, Marvel does have an awful lot of stuff out.
Yeah, and then they have an event for every single title that they have out.
And if you wanted to get a collected edition of some of those titles, where would you go, Luis?
You go to InStockTrades.com.
That's right. InStockTrades.com, where you can get your collected editions up to 50% off. Loyalty discounts add 2% to that. Over $50 in an order gets you free shipping in the United States. Fabulous customer service. That's Emily. And fabulous packaging. That's InStockTrades.com.
Yes, it is.
And we I don't have a close relationship with Emily, but I do text her or PM her every once in a while, and she has a very funny sense of humor because they're trying to come up with codes for the next OmniBros code, and she was coming up with some very funny ideas that if they pass muster with Cameron, I I think they are just. She is very funny. I think that if Cameron goes for him, it could be a laugh riot.
Well, we know what the obvious one is. We're not going to say here, but we know what the obvious one is.
Then she went for an obscure, not obscure, but a famous one that.
That's a deep cut. That's a pretty
a deep cut. That's very well said. It was a deep cut. Yeah.
So she is obviously a fan of the show and watches the show to some extent, because some of those references she was pulling out, I'm like, wow, they really do watch the show sometimes.
Yeah, well, she told me that she does listen to the show all the time, like in her car as a podcast on her way to work and stuff. So
cool.
Yeah, so she knows. She definitely was pulling out some funny things.
I would actually say the vast majority of our listeners and the fans, and they're the people that probably catch the show after it's all done and posted up on YouTube.
Yeah,
because it is kind of tough for some people to catch a show at 8 o'clock on the weekday. They have work, they have kids, and things like that. But the vast majority of our views come from after.
Yeah.
Even though we love you guys in the chat, thanks for being with us every week. Didio is running DC into the ground, yet he's untouchable. Didio is actually a very sweet guy. If you ever get a chance to meet him, I have heard Comics Pros talk nothing but great things about him.
I don't know him at all. I know Jim Lee's a good guy.
That's true. Jim Lee is a good guy. But no, Didio, he's lobbied for a lot of creators and artists, from what I've heard, that after a lot of artists and writers and creators, and they move on from comics and they retire, a lot of them don't have health insurance. A lot of them don't get.
Right.
It's not like they get a pension or anything like that for doing comics. And Didio's a huge advocate for those guys, so that's good stuff.
I would love it if Omar was on the show tonight and pronounced his name Didio.
Didio. But Jess, we have a topic tonight, and I have a splitting headache, so let's try to keep this tight.
Oh, you do? Okay, I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
I'm not feeling that great, but I'm here for you guys. And our topic today is Creator Spotlight. We're going to be talking about some creators that, we've just been enjoying their work lately, or we feel, been getting the shaft a little bit, or some guys that you might not have heard of, but you should definitely be checking out. So I'm going to let Jess take the floor first.
Oh, well, my guys are all well known. So you should go first. Because you in the chat you said I never talk about this particular writer, and I said, okay, I'll talk about him, and everybody's heard about him, but so yeah, I'm ready to talk about him mostly.
Well, Master, we know Absolute Swamp Thing got relisted, right?
It did for later in the year. It definitely got resolicited.
Which is what I called, thank you, last week's show. I think we were all in agreement with it, that we all said if there's any one of these books that were canceled that were going to get resolicited, it was going to be Absolute Swamp Thing, and it was going to be around the time that the Swamp Thing show lands on the DC streaming service. So October, end of the year, Swamp Thing's a horror book. Makes kind of sense that Swamp Thing, the TV show, would be out around that time. So, yeah, that makes sense.
Speaking of TV, let me just diverge for 1 second. I got a special call from Tyler Blunt on Tuesday. Sometimes we talk on the phone. And he was urging me to watch Umbrella Academy.
Oh, it's so good.
Have you seen all of it?
I've seen all of it, and I'm going to talk about that later on when we get to the creator of them. That's one of my spotlights.
Oh, wow.
It's so good.
You tie everything together, man. You're a pro.
I've been doing this for, geez. Oh my God, I've been doing this for like 6 years at this point.
Holy smoke. Wow.
Yeah, I've been doing the YouTube thing for like 6, 7 years at this point, I think. In various stages.
Did you want me to start or do you want to start? I'll do whatever you want.
I'll let you take the floor first.
Okay, well, my first writer that I'm going to talk about is well known, but Luis said I never talk about him. And so I will talk a lot about him, but I will tell you the books that I like by him and why I like him. Which is probably why you tune in. What the hell else am I going to say? I mean, this is pretty obvious. That's what I'm going to say. This, I believe, I think this is my favorite writer because I think I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is my favorite writer because he is so cerebral. And I'm not saying Alan Moore's not cerebral. I'm not saying Grant Morris isn't cerebral. But this writer comes up with so many unique and interesting, not mind-bending realities, but he comes up with so many different ways of looking at reality that I can reread and reread and reread his books and get something new out of them. Because I'm in a phase now where if I'm not going to reread a book, I'm selling it. I am not going to sell any of his, he's written a lot of books. I'm not going to sell any of his books because every time I reread one of his books, I get something new out of it. He's always extremely, I'm trying to think, he bends the laws of physics and science to the point where it seems possible. The impossible seems possible as told from his perspective, and that is Warren Ellis. We read Planetary as a book review, and I don't think, did we read Global Frequency as a book? I can't remember. We may have. I'm going to talk about him anyway. Sure. Yeah, okay. Now, I would talk about Authority, which I love, but I sold my Authority Absolutes, the incomplete Wildstorm ones. I sold them on eBay for like $40 because I'm hoping it doesn't get canceled. The Omnibus is coming out. I loved Authority, and one of the things he wrote, which is a little more mainstream but still interesting, is Stormwatch. And this kind of introduces us to the universe in which Authority later takes place. I actually read Stormwatch after I read Authority. And it introduces Jenny Sparks, who's one of my favorite characters. And it's it's a special UN force that's a special crisis intervention team, and they are dealing with all manner of weird phenomenon that happen, of course. But I liked it mainly because of the initiation, not the initiation, the creation of Jenny Sparks. But and then there's book 2 of Stormwatch, and I like them. These aren't the mind-bending Ellis ones, but they're very interesting and very cool. And that's the first place I ever read about Apollo and Midnighter, who were his answer to Batman and Superman, and were in love with each other, and Midnighter who kills. But the interesting thing about Stormwatch is about 2/3 of the way, 3/4 of the way through book 2, it dropped, the story stops and picks up in a completely different place. You have to buy Wildcats and Aliens crossover to find out what happened to the heroes and get closure on the story arc so you can move on to the next story. I don't know why it's a Wildcats Aliens crossover. I can only assume it was a rights issue, that it was never included in any of the collected editions. It's one of the weirdest things I've ever seen in comic books. It's about a $4 or $5 book on eBay. But if you are an Authority fan and you haven't read Stormwatch, I highly recommend you get the trade paperbacks or the hardcovers. But you absolutely cannot understand the second book, the last half of the second book, unless you have the Wildcats Aliens crossover number 1. What Stormwatch has to do with Wildcats and Aliens, I do not know. But the story's in there that explains what happens to the heroes. It's the craziest thing. So I like Stormwatch. Another book that I love of Warren Ellis's is this deluxe of Ocean and Orbiter. And in Ocean, this is a lot of times we've got government conspiracies going on, and they discover, let's see, it is a moon on Jupiter. Yeah, Jupiter, Jovian moon Europa, where they discover this is set when there's interplanetary travel, and they discover something buried under the ice on the Jovian moon Europa. Now, it's not that simple. There's a man sent to investigate. There's already a team there to investigate. It involves all kinds of conspiracy, all kinds of intrigue. It's extremely well written. There's lots of good twists. There's lots of interesting stuff. And yeah, and what they end up discovering is really disturbing and threatening to everything that we know and hold dear on life on Earth. So Ocean is an excellent story. Oh, and this is signed by Colleen Doran, she illustrated the next story, which is Orbiter. And now Orbiter is interesting because I think I like Orbiter the best of the two. What are those things called? What was the Challenger called? The Columbia.
I forgot.
Space shuttle. A space shuttle. Jeez. A space shuttle lands that had been missing for 10 years. It suddenly lands again. It's got new instrumentation, new engines, and is covered with skin on the outside, similar to human skin.
Ooh.
With one surviving crew member who's really not that helpful. So it's been gone for 10 years, and a team of experts is called in to try and figure out what happened to it and how come there's sand from Mars in the wheel wells.
It kind of reminds me of, I don't know if you saw that movie last year, Annihilation.
Oh, I didn't. I really want to.
It kind of reminds me of that with Annihilation, where this group of people, they disappear for, I think it's like 6 months, into this space that's kind of been terraformed by like this alien presence that's there. And then out of nowhere, one of the lead character's husband shows back up, and he's just not quite right. Something's a little off about it.
So they call in a team of experts, and so they're trying to figure out what all the new instrumentation is and how it got there, how they, how sand from Mars got in the landing gear, and 10 years later with new engines, and it's really great. And I saw Colleen Doran, who illustrated this, at AwesomeCon back in 2017, and I had her sign it, and I said, "So what was it like working with Warren Ellis?" And she paused for a little bit and she said, "It was very interesting." That's all she would say. And I go, "Oh, okay."
I love Ellis.
I know. I wanted to get a little more out of her. She was perfectly sweet, but I didn't get anything more out of her. Now, the next book that I like to highlight by Warren Ellis. Now, he's written a ton of skinny trade paperbacks that I haven't read, like Freak Angels, Gravel, Scars Down, Switchblade Honey. I haven't read any of those yet, and I really need to, but I promised Gabe I was going to read Gotham Academy next. We read this as an assignment, so I don't want to go over it too much because we've already talked about it on the show. But the Planetary Omnibus, this is simply one of my favorite books. It is.
Oh God. It's so good.
Yeah, it is amazing.
So good.
People were comparing me to Elijah Snow because I have the snow-colored hair. But this was back when, I think John Cassidy drew this. Yeah, this is back when John Cassidy knew how to draw.
Oh.
Sorry.
I didn't like it at first. I
was artwork or the story?
I was lukewarm on the book at first, but with subsequent visits, I've grown to like it more and more. Every time I come back to it, I like it more.
This is they're like an interdimensional peacekeeping force that discovers, this is where the mind-bending stuff comes in. They discover a snowflake with like 196,000 angles to it that are each explorable, and it turns into the multiverse. They encounter a sentient spaceship that needs a crew. It really twists time and space, but it's not, he never writes over your head. It all seems very believable and interesting. And Elijah Snow's over 100 years old, and he's like the leader of this three-man team, the drummer, Chiquita Wagner, and they discover a World War II supercomputer that can access other universes, a ghostly spirit of vengeance, and a lost island of dying monsters. So this book just really has it all for me, because it deals with like alternate realities happening in our reality. And so I just, to be able to come up with that kind of writing, to imagine our world and then imagine alternate worlds simultaneously existing and bleeding in and stuff, to me that's really good writing, and I really dig it. I highly recommend the Planetary Omnibus. This was one of my biggest scores. I got it for $25 off the InStockTrades damage sale, and as you can see, the only damage was it has some slight, hardly anything. So $25, that was a steal.
I don't, man, I esteem it those damage books. Like they say damage, but it's 9 times out of 10, it's so minimal it doesn't even really matter.
Yeah, paperbacks sometimes come with like a bent corner and stuff, but I did just take a chance. I bought the Justice League of America Omnibus #2, the Silver Age one. It was damaged, so we'll see what it comes in like. The next book let me talk about is the latest one to come out. And to me, this is the trippiest one. And I'm going to explain it to the best of my capability. It's Injection.
Oh, okay. I'm really curious about this because I know next to nothing about this series.
Okay, they took 5 people and basically gave them carte blanche to create, 5 geniuses to create carte blanche whatever they wanted to do. You create it, we'll fund it, said this super secret government agency.
Is this finished?
I'm sorry?
I didn't mean to cut you off, but is this finished?
No. I think it ends on a cliffhanger.
Okay.
Let me see here.
So he's still writing it.
I think so. I still enjoyed it a lot. So these 5 super geniuses created an artificial intelligence that gets loose out into the world. And that's the injection, they call it. It's an artificial intelligence that decides to create mayhem using supernatural ability, folklore, myths, and science. And so it creates mayhem, and they got to call the 5 people back who created it to try and set things right. Because the AI is out there, the injection, and it creates weird situations all over the world, and they're called back in to solve the problems. I personally found this, it's not, I wouldn't say it's challenging. I would say it's more challenging than his other stuff, and I need to read it again. I really enjoyed it because I dig the concept of an artificial intelligence using myth and folklore to create mayhem on the earth, and the different personalities that go along with the super geniuses. But I could read it again, and I should read it again, but I can't because I'm reading Gotham Academy. But I think you dig this. It's very interesting, very cerebral, and it's one of the more challenging books he's written, in my humble opinion. And a book I don't have in front of me, but I will give honorable mention to before I go on my last book, is the Moon Knight book Warren Ellis wrote, the 6-issue arc, which was my favorite Moon. I've been reading Moon Knight a long time, and it's one of the few Marvel runs that I've actually kept up on ever since I was little. There's one issue that is absolutely, here he is, the king of smart comics.
Hey,
we're talking about smart comics right now, big guy.
There's no way that you two are talking about smart comic books. I've heard both of you have a conversation, and neither one of you.
You go to hell.
Wow, that's like a record. I'm on the show for like 5 seconds, and I get told to go to hell. And it's by like the nicest guy on the show. And that's only because Gio doesn't have internet yet.
Right.
What's up, guys?
Gio really is our Mr. Rogers. Like,
he's the heart, Jess is the soul. I have no idea what body part we are. How is everybody doing tonight?
Good. We're having a good time.
Good, good. Well, I just came to fuck it up. I just got out of Girl Scouts, so I was like, well, I got time to kill before my show starts, so.
Nice.
What are we talking about? I'm playing the role of Gabe. What's the topic?
You're our Kramer tonight?
Yeah.
The topic is Creator Spotlight, and I'm right in the middle of my Ellis chat. Warren Ellis.
Oh, wow. Okay. Carry on then.
Okay. Well, I was talking about his Moon Knight run, which I don't have in front of me, but he did 6 issues of Moon Knight, and there's one issue that is wordless. No dialogue whatsoever, with him taking on this house full of bad guys. And it is one of the most effective uses of space and black, because if I recall correctly, it's done in black and white. It's been a while since I read it, but I feel like it was. But it uses its space so economically and so perfectly that there's not a wasted movement in there, and it tells the story so well without any words coming out of Moon Knight or any character's mouth. It is remarkable. So Moon Knight by Warren Ellis is a 6-issue run, which is great. And then the last book I have, which is another favorite of mine, and if it wasn't for the fact that I promised Gabe I'm reading Gotham Academy, I'd reread this because I feel like I reread this every 3 weeks, is Global Frequency, the deluxe edition. You are on the Global Frequency. Is basically an interplanetary troubleshooting team created by Miranda Zero. She's got 1,000 agents that are experts in everything. They all have phones. They're run by one gal on a switchboard called Aleph that has access to all the agents in the world. And when you come upon a situation that is impossible for regular people to handle, they call in Global Frequency, the Global Frequency team, and Miranda Zero handles it. And she is in charge of handling some of the most interesting, bizarre, fascinating cases. And what I like about it is that even though Warren Ellis wrote every one of these, every issue has a different artist, a different really good artist, and it doesn't interrupt the flow. It actually makes it more special. Steve Dillon, I just showed some of his art. And so there's different artistic styles. It takes place all over the world. And I find Global Frequency fascinating. Just the fact that it's kind of a quasi-governmental, works outside the grid type of agency that has everybody with a special skill set that gets figured out that they need to be used in this situation. They get called in teams or singly, and they help solve it. It is fascinating. And here's the parkour girl, if you remember parkour, if I'm even saying that right, where she can jump from place to place. Parkour. Yeah. So Global Frequency, another one of my faves.
You have a good memory. You claim that you don't remember anything, but I don't remember anything that you just said, and we reviewed that book like 2 months ago.
That's kind of why I chose Ellis, because that's one of the few writers I remember his stuff.
Yeah, if these guys aren't mutants, I don't remember jack shit.
Omar can recite Chris Claremont's entire X-Men history, but he can barely remember his kids' names.
Yeah, or the middle names. Don't give me. I'm not that bad of a father. Would have been so much better. I remember telling my wife I wanted to name my kid Weapon X, and she was like, "No." Like
Weapon X.
Like that's such an awesome name. Like nobody would pick a fight with. You know, I was like, I'm sure we're gonna have a boy, and it ended up, of course, having 2 girls. But yeah. Weapon X. I forgot about that until now. I was like, yeah, we're naming the kid Weapon X. You have no say.
You snuck it in there on the birth certificate while she was knocked out after.
Middle name Lydia Weapon X Valdivieso.
Actually has a nice ring to it.
It does. So favorite runs, huh?
Creator Spotlight. Creators.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you ever read Warren Ellis's Excalibur?
I did not. That has been recommended to me highly by, I believe, you and Peter M. and Ryley Moore.
Wow. Like that's it, man. Dude, you just need Peter M.'s blessing. Why didn't you read that? It is a interesting take on the characters, and he explores a lot of things that I kind of wanted Claremont and Alan Davis eventually to do when they were on the book. Like one of the things that they did was, this is not a big shocker, but Magic died at the time, right? Like she was dead during this time. And one of the things that her and Kitty had was a pact that if ever something were to happen to her, Kitty would inherit her soul sword and her soul armor. And nobody really did anything with it. And then along comes Warren Ellis, you know, this British guy writing about Excalibur. But although at the time I think they were in Scotland, if I'm recalling right. But anyway, yeah, he tied that all in and made it this really dark and awesome story, the Soul Sword trilogy. Oh, it was great. I really liked it.
What is it collected in?
That's collected in the Visionaries, I believe. Warren Ellis Excalibur trades. I would do an Excalibur comprehensive reading order. People have asked me to, but I cheated and I custom bound all my Excalibur.
I think I lost my Excaliburs in the flood.
Oh, not to worry, my man, because I think Marvel is got you covered because we got epics coming. We already have 2, and we've got a 3rd one coming. No, 3. 3? Yeah, 3. Cross Time Caper, and then the High School Girls from Heck, and then the very first one. Yeah, those are good, man. And then I know they'll get to the Warren Ellis stuff, but that was a good run. No. Excalibur itself is a very underrated, good mutant title.
Omar, did you read that one shot this past year with Magic?
What was it?
It was a one-shot issue this year, and it's basically like a what-if story. And it tells the story of what would happen if Magic had come out of where she was. I forgot where it was.
No, I never did. I never did read that.
And
but
she was
I saw the cover.
Doctor Strange, and she was trained by Doctor.
What if she became Sorcerer Supreme?
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, I haven't read that.
Good. Yeah, it's just one issue.
I need to read that.
I remember showing Jess, and Jess said, "I already have that." So you have it. Yeah, you have the issue because you like the. I showed you the cover, and you were like, "Oh, I've got that," because it had come out like a week or 2 before I said anything. So you got a CG seed somewhere or somewhere in a box.
That's a lie.
Whatever, you fucking flipper. I know you've got it because you were like, I already have that. Because I remember I was like, all right, man, calm your tits. I was just telling you about this Magic issue because I know you've got a hard on for her.
I totally do. I love her.
But yeah, I have not read that. No, I need to. I miss those what if things. I wish they would start doing what if collections properly.
Yeah.
Especially, I know they've gone back to the what if classics, but I really liked a lot of the late 80s and early 90s stuff because that's the kind of stuff that I grew up watching. And of course, every what if ended the same, right? Everybody fucking died, but it didn't matter. It was the fun of watching it get there, right? It's like watching those shitty Fast and the Furious movies. No offense, Luis, but you know where they're going. but it's still fun watching it getting into there.
Hey, I don't go to watch them for quality, okay? I watch them for stupidity.
Hey, I watch them too. So, who's next?
I'll take the floor. Yeah. Okay, so I've got a relatively new creator. He's only got 1 book out, and he published it this past year. I actually just read it this past week. His name's really hard to pronounce because he's from Thailand. Pornsak Pishetshoot.
Oh, Pornsak. Yeah. I've read him.
I've butchered that completely. He was actually an editor for Swamp Thing and for Vertigo and for DC Comics. That's how he cut his teeth. But I'm talking about Infidel. Holy fuck, you guys need to read Infidel. Holy fuck.
I need to read it.
Yeah, it's an Image comic series. It's a limited series. It's only 5 issues. It came out last year, and it blew me away. It's so fucking good. It's a brilliant horror comic, and the best way that I can compare it to is, you know how A24 is putting out things right now like Hereditary, The Witch they did, Babadook, things like that, things that have been coming out like in the indie scene. It's basically the comic version of that. It's so goddamn good. It centers around the premise of a young Muslim woman who has moved in with her husband into a small building. A few months ago, though, the building had a bombing attack by it was bombed inside the building, and there is basically a haunting that's going on inside of the building. That's the surface level stuff. Underneath it, it's dealing with racism in America. It's dealing with xenophobia and the hatred of people and just how both sides there's misunderstanding. It's brilliant. It's one of the best read books that I've read in the past year, and the art by Aaron Campbell is fan-fucking-tastic. In fact, I think I'm gonna mirror this real quick so you guys can see it. Let me see, chat, screen share.
Oh, Jess has got you covered, man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you have the book, Jess?
No, but I can help you screen share.
My man.
I got it. So there's that. That's some of the art involved in it. It's creepy. It's creepy. It's haunting. It genuinely has. Horror comics are really difficult to do. They are, because you as the reader, you can kind of control the pacing of it. Whereas in a film or in a lot of other formats, it's the person behind the camera that controls the pacing, where they can hold the tension a lot. Here, it works. He's really good at the page turn, where you turn the page and he hits you with something really shocking and just really creepy. It's great. It really is. And
who's the artist?
Aaron Campbell.
Aaron Campbell. It looks a little bit like Alex Maleev, just the way the cross hatching and stuff on that art.
Yeah, Aaron Campbell did The Shadow. If that rings
The new
any bell.
Shadow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love the covers of this too. Here's the cover for issue 1.
I like that. I can barely tell, but it looks like maybe the variant cover, the one where it looks
This
like a. No, not that one, but the one. Yeah, that one. That one looks awesome.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me a little bit of what's his name, Oliver Copiel.
Yeah.
His art.
Yeah.
So is this a new book? Has it been collected?
Yeah, it's collected. It's only 5 issues. It's a 5-issue run. They just completed it, and I'm pretty sure there's a trade out of it.
Yeah, I have the trade.
I love this. I really did, and this is this guy's first outing, like his first.
Let me see his name again. Let me take a shot at this.
Go take a shot at it.
Let me see.
I can't get it.
There it is, right there.
I'm usually really good
You
with.
just had it.
Oh, here we go.
There it is.
I'm really good with foreign names. These white guy names I'm not good with. Let's see. Porn Shack Pigeon Shot. Is that what you said? Did you just call him Porn Shack?
Porn sack.
Porn
Yeah.
Sack.
Yeah.
Shit show.
That's an awesome name. My first name was Porn Sack.
Yeah, that's what you should have named your son. Weapon
Yeah.
X Porn Sack.
Man, he would have been popular. Or he gotten his ass whooped.
No, but this is a book that is very much of our time, with all the craziness that's going on and with the rising tension between societies and cultures and things. This is very much a book that it really could not have come out at a better time, and I really think you guys need to check this out by somebody that the minute he puts something else out, I am there. I'm really excited for the potential this guy has.
Oh, you've piqued my interest. I like the horror aspect and I like the art.
I feel like I've read something by him before.
This is pretty sure this is his only book right now.
Really?
Mm-hmm. He was an editor for a while.
Okay, I'm going to Google porn sack and see.
Oh,
Careful.
please do.
Careful.
Make it 2 words. Make it 2 words, Jess.
Porn sack.
Don't share your screen, Jesus.
What is it? Show. I don't know how to spell his last name. I'm pretty sure that wait, let me just look up porn sack.
Yeah, do that.
I like all the people that are trying to in the chat, but it's blocking them for some reason.
Because of porn.
Yeah, because of porn. Porn shack pigeon shot.
Is shit show. See if I get something there. Image Comics. The Infidel Collect Editions, Infidel Comics, Infidel. All right, I'm wrong.
Yeah, he cut his teeth under Karen Berger from Vertigo.
Okay, you're right. I'm wrong.
And where is she now? Is she at Dark Horse?
She's doing Berger books now.
Oh, okay.
Under, I think, Dark Horse, right? Jess, we talked
I
about
thought so.
Yeah.
It's like her own little imprint. I don't think anything's come out of that yet, has it?
Nash Villains just gave us a super chat. Porn Shack plus Raw Shark make Porn Shark.
That's so stupid.
But he gave us $2, so it doesn't matter.
Whatever. What a nice guy.
I love Nashville, and so he just throws us a bone every once in a while.
I know, it's funny.
Oh, I gotta get going soon. Can I go next, Jess? To cut you off.
Please do. Yeah, no, I actually shot my
Wad. Yep.
wad with Warren Ellis.
With Porn Shack. Got it.
With the Porn Shack, yeah.
I'm gonna talk about Peter Tomasi's run on Green Lantern Corps.
Ooh.
I know it's overshadowed by Jeff Johns' amazing run.
I think it's just as good.
But to me, yeah, they really complement each other, especially during those big crossover events like Sinestro Corps, War, and the Blackest Night. Oh, and even War of the Green Lantern. So, I absolutely loved his run, and it is a damn shame that DC. I don't think we'll ever see a omnibus collection of that ever, because I think it's already too late. The moment has come. The only way I see that being collected in oversized format is kind of like Blackest Night collections, like the Blackest Night omnibus is coming out. Or maybe if they decide to do Green Lantern again by Jeff Johns and then make it like 6 omnibuses, including the Green Lantern Corps. But they are wonderful. They're available in hardcover, which I think most are sold out, and trade paperback, which most are still in print. But not to be missed. That series was always overshadowed by Green Lantern, but Green Lantern Corps is the shit. I love that run. I thought I was jumping on when you guys were going to talk about books you hated. It was really... Next time. I gotta go review what's it called? Umbrella Academy season 1. Next time you all talk about hate.
Have you already seen all the episodes of Umbrella Academy?
Yeah.
You have too, huh?
Yeah.
I loved it.
You did? I wanted to love it, but I had little issues with it. I think Maddie and Amanda both ended up loving it.
Of course they did. They're not an elitist like you.
I am not an elitist.
Oh my God, you were such an elitist.
What? I'm sorry we differ in opinion from time to time, Jazz. That's how relationships work. We can't both agree on the same thing. The damn dress was black and blue. But let's see. I think that's it. I'll hang on here for 5 more minutes and jump off. Who's next? Jess?
I'm all. I mean, I talked like 7 books with Warren Ellis, so I think people have heard enough from me.
Warren Ellis. Would you say he is one of your top 3 favorite writers of all time?
Yeah.
Top 3. Who are the other 2? Just out of curiosity.
Kelly Sue DeConnick and Kelly Sue DeConnick.
I don't think Jess has read anything. Have you read anything that she's done, Jess?
Yeah, I've read
Captain Marvel?
I've read Captain Marvel and Pretty Deadly.
Now, you loved Captain Marvel, I'm sure.
I liked Captain Marvel, but I loved Pretty Deadly.
I haven't read her Pretty Deadly, but I did read Captain Marvel many years ago, or as it was coming out.
I would say, let me think here. My other favorite writer would be Mark Waid.
Good choice.
I said top 3. Kelly Sue DeConnick.
Well,
Mark Waid is a great choice. That's a good one.
Yeah.
You got any? Who's the guy that killed Pharaoh Lad?
I think that was 15-year-old. What's his name? Oh shoot, Jim Shooter.
Jim Shooter. Was it Shooter?
Yeah,
really?
I think it was. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
15.
I thought you meant Jim Starlin,
Jim Shooter,
who's notorious for killing characters. Like Death in the Family, Infinity Gauntlet. Man, it had been so much so he was notorious that they came and offered him the Death of the Marvel Universe comic book. What do you got, Jess?
I'm looking. Who consistently writes something that I want to say Brian K. Vaughan. I really like
Rucka.
Who? Oh yeah, Ed Brubaker and Rucka.
Yep.
That's 4. That's
No, I said 3, Jess. If you were on a deserted island
all right, Ed Brubaker.
with 3 dudes, who would you take with you? Ed Brubaker.
I'm taking dudes with me to this island. I'm taking Kelly Sue
Yeah,
DeConnick with me.
you jumped the because of her fine writing and Pretty Deadly, right?
Sure. Yeah, Brubaker.
Oh
Yeah,
man, if
yeah.
that's the case, I'm taking what's her name? Marjorie.
Marjorie Liu.
Yeah, her.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, so that was fun.
Who are the 3 you'd take? You like? Who are your top 3?
Gabrielle Union, Christina Hendricks.
No.
You mean writers? Writers.
Christina Hendricks.
Hey, I'm with you on that.
Oh my God, dude, that woman is a walking goddess.
Oh,
It's like God.
I'm not saying she's not.
It's like God himself went like this and squeezed her right in the middle, and like a balloon, she proportionately spread out.
In all the right places, man. Oh my God.
Thicker than a Snicker.
Emily's mom. I apologize.
Emily's mom. Chris Claremont, Fabian Nicieza, Jeff Johns.
Okay.
Probably.
Very nice. Very quick. Luis,
Probably.
how about you?
Ennis, Brubaker, and
Mignola.
Mignola. Yeah, that's right.
Mignola. So glad you guys know how to pronounce that.
Well, you know who we got the lesson from?
Me?
No, your favorite guy.
Bendis?
Psycho Cleveland.
Psycho Cleveland. Is he on tonight?
No, but he spent an entire episode in caps lecturing us on how to pronounce Mignola.
Jodorowsky and Mobius. Oh, Hector Reyes. He's kind of right. They are kind of geniuses. That's a good
they are legendary.
combo. All right, fellas, I'm out of here. I got to go do a show. Everybody can stay here and watch you guys.
Thanks for appearing. Where can they find you on the internet?
You can find me in 5 minutes live on Near Mint Condition. If you've already seen Umbrella Academy, that is. If you have not, or if you don't care, I guess it doesn't matter. Yes, my YouTube channel, Near Mint Condition. And you can find me here with these fine gentlemen and on the Facebook group, which is the Omnibus. Go ahead, Jess.
The Omnibus Collectors, Comic Swap, and Community.
Bravo.
Woo!
All right. Everybody, peace out.
Good to see you, buddy.
Take care, Omar.
Chris M. I just read Sarah today. Tomorrow morning. I am doing a video on all the TKO comics. So, Chris M., if you want to see my opinion, tune in tomorrow afternoon after I have uploaded my opinion on all the TKO comics.
Did you get them all?
There's only 4, so yeah.
Oh, you ordered all 4?
I did.
Okay, and they're all trades, right? They're all collected editions?
Correct. Or singles or digital.
It's such a great idea.
Yeah, it's really remarkable.
So, without spoiling anything, good-ish?
Without spoiling anything?
Yeah, without spoiling your review, good-ish? Would I be disappointed if I ordered some?
Well, let me think about you versus me.
Yeah.
I would happily buy those books again.
Okay. Fair. That's fair. Okay.
I will guarantee you would like Garth Ennis's Sarah.
Of course. Of course. It's Ennis.
Yeah. That's the one book I guarantee you'd like. The other ones are kind of genre books that each have their strong points. And I will after we sign off, I'll tell you all about them.
That's fine. What would you say the strongest one is? The Ennis book?
I think people will probably think that. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Cool beans. I don't want to spoil your review because I know gotta leave the people wanting more.
Yeah, I'll once we end this chat, I'll tell you exactly what's going on with them.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good.
But I think they have, if they can, I think it's a great idea what they're doing.
I do too. I like the concept of basically the Netflix style. The whole thing is out right off the bat.
Mm-hmm. I love that idea.
Is it a sustainable business model? Well, we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you're exactly right.
You know, because it's not like, I don't know. I mean, it's weird because in comics, we're so used to that monthly, one a month. To have everything at once, kind of wondering how are they going to be generating a profit every single month, you know?
Well, they have 4 books out and 4 in the pipeline, but I don't know when those books are due. They're let's see, I don't have one in front of me, but they are they do have at least one more by a high profile writer.
Who's that?
Let me look. Jeff Lemire.
Oh yeah, that's gonna sell. Regardless, that's a day one buy for a lot of comic enthusiasts.
Yeah,
including me.
Right. Let's see. There was a question in the chat that I wanted to answer. Jess, did you read Swamp Thing by Snyder or Soule? Which one did you prefer? I apologize. I have not gotten to Soule's yet. I liked Snyder's, but I heard Soule's was really good, but I haven't read it out yet.
It's better.
Is it?
It's better. It's not as good as More, because you can't hold a candle to that run, but to me, it's the best Swamp Thing since More. It's good. It's really fucking good. And I think it's the best thing Soule's written.
Okay.
Yeah, I wish he would come back and do another go at it, but it's fucking good. Are we done with our spotlights?
I really said about all I think the audience can take on Ellis. I don't think they need to hear me ramble on about anybody else.
All right, so my next guy was Gerard Way, which I really just wanted to talk about Umbrella Academy because that show was really good. It was really, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a pretty faithful adaptation to the fantastic comics, which if you have not read Umbrella Academy, what the fuck are you doing? Go read Umbrella Academy, toot sweet, because Umbrella Academy is fantastic. I remember when Umbrella Academy first dropped in the comic book scene, and everybody thought the same thing. You mean that guy from My Chemical Romance is putting out a fucking comic book? Really? That emo guy?
Guy.
Yeah, because, you know, there were people in my school that listened to My Chemical Romance, and they tend to also listen to The Cure and like other emo bands like that growing up. And there was this stigma behind the band that was like, it's for kind of like those kids that, you know, they're really depressed, or like the alternative goth kids, the Hot Topic kids and stuff like that.
Hot Topic kids.
Yeah. I actually enjoy My Chemical Romance, so that doesn't say much about me, but
I have never heard them.
They're okay.
I've read a lot of his books, but I've never heard the music.
The music's not bad. It's pretty good. I liked it.
But
it was during that time of my life. And when the book dropped, it was like a bomb in the industry. Everybody was like, holy shit, this guy from My Chemical Romance can actually fucking write and kick ass doing it. I think Umbrella Academy even won the Eisner the year that it came out for Best Series, or Gabriel Ba won an Eisner for Artist on it. I know it won something for awards, but Umbrella Academy centers around a group of 7 kids that were born on the same day at the same time across the world. In fact, there were more than just 7 kids, but the guy that adopted them can only get 7. The crazy thing about it is that the women that gave birth to them weren't even pregnant when they gave birth. It was they got pregnant and boom, just like that, they had the kids in the same day. And it centers around this group of kids who they grow up to be adults, and they were superheroes when they were children, and they are very damaged. It's basically Gerard Way's alternative take on the Doom Patrol. And the Netflix show absolutely nails it. In fact, I think they do some things better than the books, mainly in how they handle the revelation involving one of the characters and who that character becomes. Because of the fact that it was only a 6-issue series, they kind of sped through certain aspects and certain motivations of that character. And here it's more fleshed out, and you understand why this certain individual becomes the individual that they do become towards the end of that arc. I loved this. My girlfriend who she had no idea of what the plot was or anything like that. She sat down Friday, and we were up till probably 3 in the morning. We started around 9-ish, and we were up till probably 3 in the morning watching this. She could not get enough of this, and she loved it from the first few minutes. I really, really dig what they do with the characters of Hazel and Cha-Cha in this. Because if you've read, and I actually talked to somebody online about this the other day, if you've read Umbrella Academy, Hazel and Cha-Cha, I'm not going to get too much into their backstory, but they are hitmen, or hitmen and a hitwoman. And that is really the only thing you get from them, that they're just your basic hitmen, that they come into the story and they pop in every once in a while, and they are scary and intimidating as fuck in the story, but they really don't have any depth or any layer or any motivation to them. Here they really add a lot of stuff to those characters, and they really flesh them out, especially the character of Hazel. Mary J. Blige is a surprise in this show because she plays the character of Cha-Cha, and she does a really good job on the show. The character of Hazel is played by, what was that Netflix show that came out last year involving murders, where it was like the first criminal investigators to put a profile together?
Oh, Mindhunter?
Yes, Mindhunter. Yes. And it was, the character of Hazel is played by one of the serial killers in Mindhunter, and he is fantastic in this. Overall, it's very faithful to the comic, and they take certain liberties where they have to stretch things out. It does sag a little bit for me around the middle in terms of story and pacing for a TV show, but it's so worth it to get to the payoff at the end. I loved it. I can't wait. And we finished it, and immediately we wanted to get season 2 right away.
I believe I will take Saturday and watch it.
It's good. It's really good.
I mean, Tyler called me up and said you got to watch it, so it sounds pretty special.
Yeah, it's very. I was very hesitant about this because this is a very weird series, and I was wondering how far Netflix was A, going to invest in it, and 2, how far they were going to take the weirdness of it. It doesn't get as weird or as out there per se as the comic, and they dial that back a little bit, but it's just enough where it doesn't go too far for a TV series. And holy shit, the budget on this must have been really high because they put a lot of money into certain scenes. There's one character, okay, slight, tiny spoilers for one character. There's one character named Pogo who is their monkey, who is their butler, and he talks. So it's not quite as good as Planet of the Apes Andy Serkis level, the mocap that they do, but it's fucking close. It is really, really fucking close, and I was impressed. I was really impressed, and I think I even read that Weta came in and they worked on the mocap for that character. It's really good.
I am intrigued and excited.
Yeah, I would say if you liked Doom Patrol and if you like kind of really out there and weird shows, you need to check this out. And it's very much well worth it. And Klaus is bae for everybody out there. He was trending on Twitter because apparently he's the most loved character out of all the members in the Umbrella Academy. And I can almost guarantee you that we are going to get a second season of this because it was trending on Twitter the first day it came out. And I was like, fuck yes. I was so excited. Because if you read anything about the second volume, the first volume is great. The second volume is holy fuck amazing. It's so good. The second volume is so fucking good. I'm kind of curious how they are going to pull off the second volume per se. Because there is something that happens in the second volume. Okay, I'm going to say this. I don't want people out there to think I'm a racist. I really don't. But there's something, the character that they choose for Rumor, she is black. She's African American. The actress. In the comics, she is white. But in the second volume, the character of Rumor does something that I don't see how they're going to be able to pull off. And have you read the second volume?
Yeah, but probably 5 years ago, so I don't remember it.
Okay, so do you know the end of the second volume? Do you remember what exactly happens with I Heard a Rumor?
Mm-mm.
God, I can't. It involves a car.
Does she take the car and go to a clan meeting?
Huh? No. I thought you were going to spoil something. No. It involves a car. You know, we'll just have to talk about it offline.
Okay.
Because it's such a big moment. And I'm kind of curious how it is that they're going to pull that off. Because it does involve the character of Rumor disguising herself as somebody to pull it off.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read it so long ago, I don't remember it.
I highly recommend you guys check out Umbrella Academy. Worth it. 100% worth it, and I can't wait for season 2.
Goody, I haven't seen you this excited about something in a while, since like the first Stranger Things.
Yeah. It's really good, man. It's very, very good. Like I said, they take liberties where they have to, and I was super pumped and excited about it. I really liked especially how they handle the character of number 7, which is Ellen Page's character. Because if you read the first volume, things happen and things go pretty crazy. And that's my review from Umbrella Academy.
Right on, man. Bonus material. We have it all here.
But just if we wanted to pick up a couple of volumes of Umbrella Academy, where can we do that?
We could do that at InStockTrades.com, where you can find your collected editions up to 50% off. Loyalty discounts add 2% to that. Over $50 in an order gets you free shipping in the United States. Fabulous customer service, fabulous packaging. That's InStockTrades.com.
InStockTrades.
InStockTrades. IST.
And the good thing about Umbrella Academy is there's only 2 volumes out. So get those. The third volume is Way's writing the third volume right now. It's good. The third volume right now is really good.
Okay.
So, are we about ready to wrap this up? Because I've got a headache.
Yeah, you still got a headache. So thank you, Joe Chip. Derek Chua says you can't get Umbrella Academy at IST.
Aw. Is it sold out?
Even the paperbacks are sold out?
It might be because of the show. It was trending all over the internet. The show was all over Twitter.
Oh, wow.
Over the weekend, yeah. So people have probably been snatching up the trades.
Interesting. Luis, where on the internet in the world can they find you?
Comics Guide 101 on Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff.
You can find me Omnidog and Omnidog's Vault on YouTube, where I will have a new video up tomorrow. And on Instagram, Omnidogs_Vault, where I usually post pictures of my dog lying on her blanket in the kitchen, where she still makes her home now.
Aw. Is she still on that blanket?
Yes, she is. Constantly.
Aww.
She loves it there.
That's adorable.
I know, it really is. It's really cute, especially that first time when my wife dropped the towels there accidentally, and the dog immediately went up and laid down on him and claimed him for her own.
That is too cute, man.
I
So
know.
you haven't picked them up? You haven't touched them yet?
Well, we replaced it with a really cushy blanket, and so now she's really happy.
That's her spot now, man.
Yeah. So thank you to the chat. Chat, if you guys could, please hit the like button. Please subscribe. Send in your comments if you'd like. We always answer them. And I believe that's it. Catch us on Sunday when we have coffee with the OmniBros. Peace and love. Peace and love.
Bye, everybody.